Social media seems to be quite obsessed with architecture and with the environments that we design for ourselves. But you may well ask what architecture truly is. If you were to Google the word architecture, you'd get this definition from the Oxford Dictionary: the art or practice of designing and constructing buildings. So there are two parts to architecture. One is designing buildings, and the other one is constructing buildings. And when you look at the designing side of it, a lot has been going on since 1850. We have built a variety of buildings in a variety of styles, in a variety of places, and you can see that there's been quite a bit of evolution from a design standpoint. But the other side of architecture is the construction part of it. And when you look at construction since 1850, you will see that very little has happened. In 1850, in England, they built the Crystal Palace, the first large steel frame building to be built. It was built in 6 months. It was 900,000 square feet, 5 stories tall. We build in the same way, but probably quite a bit slower. And there's been some fallout of that because construction is a big deal. It represents 10% of the world's GDP. One out of every 7 jobs is in construction, and it is construction results in shelter, and shelter is one of the three basic human needs. So let's compare the relative progress that we've seen in construction since the mid 1800s to that which we've seen in two other major industries, communication and transportation. In the case of communication in the mid 1800s, we had the invention of the telegraph, an earth shattering technology for the time. And by contrast, however, seems very antiquated today when we have not only Google and supercomputers in our pockets and social media, but also technologies that are changing the way we communicate, the way we work, the way we control our homes and everything around us. And similarly in transportation, while in the 1850s they were fine-tuning the locomotive, today's drones, electric vehicles, and having several rovers on Mars make that all seem rather archaic. So again, by contrast, major evolutions in communication and transportation, whereas construction really has lagged behind with very little, if any, innovation. And why is that important? Because we depend on our buildings for our safety. They provide us with shelter, and with the amount of natural disasters increasing logarithmically and their strength getting stronger, we need and rely on our shelters for our safety. Another way that we could evaluate buildings is their affordability. And, the statistics speak for themselves. 1 out of 4 people globally is homeless. So clearly, homes are far too expensive to construct. And the other way that we can judge buildings is the impact that they have on the environment. And with 50% of our natural resources going towards the construction industry, 40% of our energy being consumed by buildings, 40% of our carbon emissions being off-put by buildings, and 35% of our solid waste stream uh, being developed by the building industry, we would hope that we could do better, that we could advance construction technology to reduce its impact and increase its safety and reduce its cost. At Beanie Schultz, we are trying to harness natural forces such as air pressure to enable us to build reinforced, thin-shell concrete domes, monolithic buildings that are not only attractive, but also greener, safer, and more affordable than traditional construction.